Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, no problem.
Mr. Nawar Al-Ani, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Walid. How are you doing?
I'm good. First of all, congratulations on publishing the article. I read it and I truly love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Just being an editor and video maker does not mean that I am not following the activities that you're doing. So congratulations. And I look forward to read your next book, inshallah.
Inshallah, why not? I didn't know that.
That might be a surprise to you, but I read almost everything you guys publish. But this is on a side note. So congratulations again. And I look forward to read your publications, inshallah. Salim Mukhlis, how are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah.
How's everything? Where are you from? Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Actually, I'm from Yemen.
Are you an English teacher?
No. Actually, I'm doing business. Actually, I'm staying at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Yeah.
Okay, so the kind of conversation, just Salim, the kind of conversation that we will have here is for English teachers and the challenges of English teachers. Are you interested in continuing the discussion of that? Because this is a forum, a short forum for English teachers. So if you're interested, you're more than welcome to join us and stay and listen to us, because we'll pretty much discuss a lot of things. Huh?
If you don't mind, I want to continue with
I don't mind.
Please.
I don't mind.
Thank you.
I don't mind. Nawar, tell us a little bit about yourself, the challenges that you have as an English teacher.
Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Nawar. I am 25, almost 25 years old, and I have been teaching since 2018. And according to the outbreak of COVID-19, now I am giving lectures online. And one of the challenges that I am facing nowadays is the internet and the difficulty of delivering the information to the student himself. Like I used to give him the information face to face, and that was easy. Now it's a little bit difficult to deliver the information. And yeah, this is one of the difficulties, and besides the internet. And I think also Iraqi people, they're not used to the new technology of giving the lectures, the lessons online. So they just need some time. Yeah, this is it.
What kind of solutions do you propose to overcome this challenge?
Well, I think it depends on the person himself. Yeah, if he wants to cultivate himself, and I mean he can improve himself to get used to these new technologies. But a lot of people are still complaining that oh, what is this online teaching? No, it's not good for us. But it is I think it's just, yeah, as I told you, it depends on the person himself. If he wants to develop himself, so he should get used to these new technologies. But if not, so he won't develop. That's to say. And
which
solutions also we can make.
Which one of the skills?
Yes.
Which one of the skills combined, reading, writing, listening, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, which one of them do you find as the most challenging to teach online, and why?
Yes, it is the grammar. It is the grammar, actually, because I used to teach them the grammar on the whiteboard, face to face, and writing easily. But nowadays, now I write on the notepad, on the Word. I do screen sharing, but it is difficult a little bit. Sometimes I can feel from the student's face if he gets the idea or not. Now I faced a little bit difficulty because I can't see him, or even if I see him, I can judge that he gets the whole idea. So I start to ask him questions like, give me some sentences, and what do you understand? Can you repeat it again? In order to know if he gets the answer, the idea of the grammar or not. So yeah, it is the grammar.
Okay. Well, as much as I disagree with your opinion in this regard, because I have another skill that is far more challenging than grammar, which is a peripheral or auxiliary kind of skill. But I totally respect your challenge that you mentioned here and the kind of proposed solutions to it. It's actually different from one teacher to another. Like every teacher has a pain in the neck when it comes to one of the the skills that should be taught in the classroom or face-to-face. But that's life, you know. Everybody has their own challenges when it comes to classroom management, test administration, classroom procedure. All of that may lead to far more challenges that can be sequentially coming to his face in front of the classroom. But let's go around the attendance here. Fadi Ismail, how are you? Fadi, do you hear me? I'm not sure if Fadi can hear me or not. Artash Umar, do you hear me? Well, let's continue talking with our gentleman here, Mr. Nawar. Mr. Nawar, tell us a little bit about how you could improve your teaching skills over the time, since you're a fresh graduate.
Well, there are a lot of strategies to improve myself. I am watching a lot of senior teachers like you and take note. I take notes all of the time, even if they were fresh teachers or senior teachers. I get benefit from them. I take notes. I see what can I do. Also, I see I watch foreign teachers on YouTube. They got amazing ways of delivering the idea to the students. And I work on myself because I think teachers are learning from their students. We are learning by doing, by the way.
Definitely.
And whenever you get to know students, and you will get to know different mentalities and behaviors, and then you will know what you need. You will know what you should do when you get another new student, because you have faced lots of different personalities with different behaviors. So I think you will be having a great background about the mentality of the Iraq student. What does he need, and what should I do with him? So yeah, it's a matter of practicing also. You should practice as much as you can with the students. And I do something also, and I believe this is one of the characteristics that each teacher should has, which is when you got to a new topic, for example, I started to explain this topic to myself. Also, I record myself on my camera, then rewatch it again. If I get the idea of what I am saying, then that means that I fully understand the idea and I am able to deliver it to the students. If I am not, so I should read about this idea again and read about the means of how to deliver this idea. Also, I can use a lot of visual aids, pictures, audios, video to deliver the idea, specifically the grammar and sometimes vocabulary. Yeah, these are lots of techniques we can use, and also lots of other things I don't remember, but I think these are the most important things that each teacher should do. And each teacher should know about his what is he going to deliver to the students. Do not come to the class without previous preparation. I always prepare my lesson before I deliver it to the students. I think this is a crucial factor. Yeah.
Great. What are your top 3 tips to online English teachers now who are teaching the students in Iraq?
Okay. Concerning technical tips, you should have UBS, okay, in order to manipulate the
logistic issue.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 is to get used to the new technology by watching videos about the platforms that are used nowadays, that are using nowadays for delivering the lectures, like Zoom, Skype. We have Microsoft Teams and other platforms. And third, you should what should I say?
Probably follow a model where you can simulate, imitate, and then try to catch up and then develop your own footprint when it comes to language teaching and pedagogy.
Exactly.
This is quite insightful when it comes to have somebody you consider as a role model. I truly like the idea of you following YouTube channels of English teachers and trying to mimic, imitate, simulate, and try to get as much as possible out of the content of that lesson, even if the content of the lesson is kind of variable from one culture and setting to another. But in Iraq, we are in EFL context, as you know, and we need to pump up a little bit more effort to contextualize everything that we say. Thank you so much, Mr. Nawar, for your insightful comments and feedback. Fadi, do you still hear me or not? Welcome, Maram Al-Salami. Galaxy Note 9, thank you so much for joining us. Wajdi Al-Sadi, which one of you hears me right now? Maram, do you hear me? I still don't hear Maram. I think it's a technical internet connectivity issue. So let's proceed with Mr. Nawar and see if anybody else can catch up with our conversation here. How do you design the lesson, Mr. Nawar? Do you plan anything before you start the lesson, or you just improvise during the lesson?
Just before answering this question, I want to add one more thing. I think we are contacting with others. Let's say that there is no camera, so only audio contact. So I think you should manipulate your voice to be more friendly and to get to be close to the students himself. Because do not treat him like you are his superior and he is lower than you. I think it is better to be his friend. I know there are some barriers should be and some lines, but treat him as he's your friend, or okay, you're his son, in order to make the students love what you are giving to him, to like you, and encourage him to come back again to you and to love what he is doing. Okay, what was the question? Sorry.
The question was, do you design a lesson plan before you conduct the lesson, or you improvise during the lesson to go with the flow, as we say in English? Because sometimes what you teach may not be what the students learn. Sometimes we teach something and we end up having students learn something quite different from what we teach. So this is an expected result of teaching in EFL context. And also there's this digression where you start focusing on one objective in the lesson, and then you digress in that topic, and then you end up teaching something quite different, or something that's quite retro or earlier that hasn't been covered by another teacher or hasn't been learned by students. So these are some of the variables that are really hard to control in the classroom. So to reiterate the question again, do you design a lesson plan and you dictate everything in that lesson plan in the classroom? or you just simply go with the flow and improvise based on few minimal items that you need to focus on a lesson based?
Indeed, I totally agree with what you have just said. And as I told you, I do a preparation before I come to the class, but it depends. It depends on the student's needs. So I follow certain design, but if I see the student needs more elaboration or something, then I go beyond the design. I leave the design ahead and go with the student with what he needs.
On what
For
rationale?
example,
on what rationale? What is your justification for this maneuver?
Well, I think
you need to convince me that this maneuver has a very good rationale to follow here. I mean, it's a day tour, we can say, in the track of your objection completion of the lesson, especially if we consider the constraints of time that you're given 40 minutes to 1 hour of completion of the objectives. How would you justify this day tour in your lesson?
That's a good question. As I told you, I can manipulate.
By the way, I'm teasing you.
It's okay.
I know that, you know, we need to give full authorization to teachers to do whatever they think is suitable for the language setting and the classroom setting. But from an eagle's eye perspective, where we can monitor, observe, and give feedback, it's very rational to think of the objectives, because you are a pilot of a ship, or a captain, I'm sorry, of a ship, or a pilot of an airplane, and you need to make one decisive decision that all the sequential futuristic results will rely on. So having a solid ground, concrete foundation on what principles you linguistically followed and educationally proceeded with can solidify your position of defense here. This is my point.
Well, yes, I studied some courses online with English teachers, and it said that, yeah, the courses was about TOEFL and TESOL, essentials about teaching, and most of the teachers said that do not stick to the curriculum, and because this will not, I mean, the lesson should be student-centered rather than teacher-centered.
Theoretically speaking, but practically, sometimes you're faced with a dictator director of a program that stipulates every word you say out of your mouth, especially if you're in a government sector. So you need to smuggle some supplementary materials in the lesson, you know, without his supervision, in order to ensure the optimality of the lesson completion. You know, we are in a tug of war between the dictated instructions of the managers and directors of the programs and the inner consciousness that you need to provide learners with the optimal learning objectives that will take them from point A to point B, where they realize that they've learned something out of the lesson. You know, eventually they are going to forget around 60% of what they've been taught in the lesson 1 hour after the finishing of the lesson. So the 40% investment that you have should be carefully, you know, scrutinized here to ensure that they're getting something out of the lesson. This is my point. Okay. But Kareem Shahata, I'm sorry, I'm swinging back and forth with the followers and the attendance here to balance the conversation. I don't want to be biased and talk only with Mr. Nawar, but I'm trying to distribute the conversation with everyone. But since—
By the way, I have just wake up 10 a.m.
Oh, well, that gives me a good impression about your linguistic processor then. Kareem Shahata, how are you?
Yes. How are you, Mr. Walid?
I'm good. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you teach, and what is your major everything that you think is interesting to this conversation here about for teachers.
Yes, actually, first of all, I'm not a teacher. Yeah, but I'm a student in my second year at the Faculty of Languages and Translation, English department.
Okay, and are you planning to be a
So,
teacher? Because this is a conversation with English teachers. So I'll
yeah,
consider you as
I'm
an
just
English teacher. I'll
yeah,
consider you.
I'm just here, yeah, to get beneficial from your
Okay,
experience.
so you're
Yeah,
auditing here.
yeah,
You're
because
more than welcome,
you know that
Habibi.
you are
You're more than
amazing
welcome.
person.
You are
Yeah,
more
thank you
than
so much.
welcome. Where are you
Thank you,
from?
Mr. Waleed.
Where are you
I'm
from?
from Egypt. I'm from Egypt.
From lovely Egypt. We love Egypt. We love
Yeah,
Egyptian
thank you
cinema.
so much. Thank you so much.
Hamza, how are you? Do you hear me? Mr. Hamza. There is internet delay here, which is something that we need to compromise. Rami Ghanaim, do you hear me? Just to double check here.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you quite well. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Which country are you from and what do you teach?
Yeah, actually, I'm from Syria, but at this moment, I live in UK. I have been living in UK around 6 years now.
Lovely.
But I feel my English it doesn't go any better, doesn't improve.
Okay, let's issue talking about anything political. This is purely pedagogic and teacher-oriented discussion. Are you an English teacher? What do you teach?
Not an English teacher. When I first time came to UK, I did college for 2 years.
What kind of study did you do there?
ESOL, you know ESOL?
Yes, English as a second or foreign language or something else?
Second language.
Okay. What did you learn from enrolling yourself in this specific challenging course?
And this specific course, I didn't get any benefit, I think so, because in my country, in Syria, they teach us in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing different, because all they are going very slow. 2 days ago, 2 days a week, and it's just 2 hours a week.
Okay, perfect. I understand that. I mean, I think it was a decision error that should have been avoided earlier by selecting the good quality program. English as a second or foreign language per se is a very challenging major for a lot of native speakers, not only non-native speakers, because you need to have a full mastery of language in order to be able to deliver good quality of training there. So this is quite important here to be considered when it comes to the selectivity of the training materials and the selectivity of the major. But probably this is too late to talk about here. I'm sorry and apologize for this short meeting. I have other commitments, but this is a demo discussion with Mr. Nawar, Fawaz, Rami, and Kareem. Inshallah, we'll proceed with other discussions in the future. That is kind of purely teacher-oriented to kind of like develop a kind of rationale or a kind of plan or of the challenges that we face in distance learning and teaching of English and how we can overcome that and design a model that can be presented to other teachers that can be utilizable by them. Thank you so much for joining me in this short meeting, and I look forward to see you soon, inshallah.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing.
So
Thank you, Mr. Waleed.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.